Hey everybody, it's me again, Adam Chapnick with the Security Token Academy, and we are here at the 3rd annual StartEngine Summit, and I am joined by friend of the show, CEO of Prime Trust, Mr. Scott Purcell. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, welcome. Thanks.
Okay, so I always love talking to you, as you know, because you are extremely articulate about very arcane parts of this industry.
Thanks.
Yes, and while some people get scared by that, you don't. Not only do you talk about it, but you jump in and you make solutions about it. So while I know all about you, I really want you to help the viewers who don't know about you. What is Prime Trust? And maybe even define sort of the role that you play, because a lot of people, I don't know if they're that familiar with custodianship and any of that stuff. So
Sure.
What are you?
Sure. Prime Trust is a financial institution, form of a bank, that is, it's a trust company that is serving the blockchain industry. And what we do is specifically, we hold custody of assets. So people with Bitcoin, Ethereum, ERC20 tokens, Stellar tokens, soon other blockchain tokens. We can hold those in custody and give them a statement, so we keep them safe, we keep them organized, and we make it really easy for them to transact business. We provide exchanges, crypto exchanges, with a way to trade, hold custody of customer assets and trade on our platform or trade on our ecosystem, so that their exchange is doing the work, but it's all, we're underneath the hood with all the custody. And then we provide a lot of escrow services. We do escrow for securities offerings, securities token offerings. StartEngine, of course, is a wonderful client. They're the biggest in this space. They do a terrific job. And we process all the money. We handle everything that goes through the investments and the transactions. And then we act as a qualified third-party trustee for assets that are being tokenized. So people that are tokenizing real estate and things like that, but more exciting right now are the stablecoins. People who are tokenizing dollars,
right,
and putting those dollars out in a digital form. We hold the asset to protect it and safeguard it for the benefit of token holders, so the issuer can't use it as a piggy bank.
Right, okay, so lots of concepts in there to kind of cover. So the overarching sort of value that you provide, I'd say, to make it real caveman, is safety. You provide a safe and secure place.
We're a trust company.
Yes.
We protect assets.
Protect assets, right. And they do it in some interesting ways now. And you were talking a little bit earlier about the importance of something that's called a stablecoin. And a lot of people may have never heard of that. But there are some in our industry, there's some very well-known ones that maybe aren't as stable as they look or sound, and because people don't understand how they're structured or what they do and don't do. Can you tell us a little bit about the importance of a stablecoin in your job and how you guys are addressing that?
Let me just define a stablecoin real quick. If you think about cash, your dollars, you probably have some in your wallet, and it's most likely you rarely open your wallet and use them. You use your debit card, you send by Venmo, you log onto your bank account and electronically send a check to somebody, which actually goes via ACH. So our money is 95% electronic as it is now. It's not physical. And banks, you walk into a bank, they don't have all of the bank's cash in a big vault. They send it to the Fed, where the Federal Reserve keeps it in electronic records as to what bank has what records. So dollars are already electronic. They're already in digital form. So a token is just another way of taking an electronic dollar and using it in commerce or for anything else. Like Venmo, you could send point to point. Well, with a stablecoin, which is a tokenized dollar, you can send point to point. You can use it for anything. So where our role comes in is that these trustees are these issuers who are creating stablecoins, and there are a lot of great ones out there. There's, TrueUSD, Carbon, Anchor Coin, Stronghold, NOS Coin, Vault, which is a gold-backed coin. It's a lot of different ones. We hold those assets and we protect them so that the dollar that is in reserve for a dollar represented token It's going to be $1 tomorrow, it's going to be $1 next week, it's going to be $1 next year. And the person who holds it can come to us anytime and say, here's my token, I want $1. And we'll do that. And we do this every day for them.
Yeah.
So that way, it protects it. The issuer can't misuse funds. Nobody can steal them. And we're holding it as the custodian, or the trustee, rather.
Yeah, so now, at first blush, that seems so obvious, right? It's a dollar coin, a dollar token. It should be backed by $1. Now, it may be surprising to people to hear that might not be how all stablecoins that people have, dollar-pegged stablecoins that people have heard about, they're doing a couple of different other things. What are, without maybe naming names, what are some of the other
I don't mind naming names.
Well, what are some of the other ways that people aren't sort of supporting their stablecoin?
Really, the problem is that the ICO industry for the last several years has been rocked by scandal after scandal after scandal.
Right.
And not just the fact that some ICOs are really securities and should have been offered as such, but the reality, a lot of them are just outright fraud. And people stole billions of dollars, many billions of dollars through fraudulent ICOs. And that's the problem. And so there are people that have issued fake, equity interest in company or fake business promises, and there are also people that have issued fake stable coins that were never held with a trustee. The money was never held with a trustee. There's no audit done on it. There's no safeguards, and it's just theft. It's fraud.
Yeah. Okay. So that's important for people to get, that even though things sound simple, you got to check and make sure they are as simple as they sound when you're dealing with that.
A little bit of due diligence.
So, the little due diligence is good. So you do something else I think that's interesting that helps people have you have a capacity for people have a large amount of backing, let's say. Is it a syndicate of banks that you guys work with where you can spread out?
Well, if we're holding dollars,
yes,
US dollars, then for anyone, whether it's underlying asset of a stable coin or just a hedge fund or an institutional investor, we insure up to $130 million of FDIC insurance per tax ID.
And that's
amazing.
And
we do that at $250,000
a
bank.
So I was going to just stop and point out for the people who may not understand that number is pretty eye-popping, because the FDIC limit is only of $250,000. And so how do you have $130 million?
Through a syndicate of 520 banks.
That's pretty awesome. It's such an obvious answer, but who would do that? You.
Yeah, we do
cool.
that. And then if somebody goes above that, we actually put the money into short-term U.S. Treasuries, because we don't want to see any money ever not be 100% insured by the U.S. government or its agencies.
Amazing. Okay, so from your perch, which is a unique perspective because you're the guts, you see the issuers, you see the platforms, what do you see is the most promising sign about the evolution of this security token space? And then maybe what do you think are some of the red flags or yellow flags, let's say?
Well, the most promising thing are that over the course of the last year in particular, people have come to accept and appreciate that regulators have a role in this. And that's with the SEC, it's with FinCEN, it's with the Treasury. So seeing people become compliant has been the most exciting thing, because it actually creates stability and starts helping to eliminate a lot of the fraud that we've seen. And at the dawn of this, it was all run by technology people, which are great because we have incredible innovations, but they have no education in regulatory affairs.
Right.
They have no appreciation for it, or often no respect for it, and so they've gotten in trouble. And it's taken us this time to get here, but now this industry is on solid footing, and it's poised to do some incredibly disruptive things. Stablecoins being one of them.
Amen. So what do you see as some of the, either maybe a yellow flag or some of the friction points that need to be ironed out for this really to take off?
The yellow flags are still the core of purists who want it to not be regulated, who want it to be something else.
Crypto anarchy sort of.
Crypto anarchy, and I understand it, but it's not the way it is. Right. You can't wish regulation away, and so when people listen to those people and take action, that's a yellow or even a red flag. Because they're not just going to get themselves into trouble, but with the lawsuits and the regulatory actions and the fines and possibly even jail time that comes from that, it gives the industry a black eye. So that's the biggest thing, is stop listening to the people from 2 years ago.
Right. So, okay, bringing it back to you, what do you guys see in the next, say, 6 months? Are you steady as they go and just scaling up with what you got, or you got something new coming?
This Tim Draper gave a speech that I watched at CoinAlts in San Francisco, and he talked about how this looks compared to the dot-com bubble. And he thinks that the dot-com bubble built a lot of fake stuff in there. It popped, and then the real businesses came afterwards. And that's when we had Amazon and so many others really get legs. He thinks that blockchain now is post-bubble, and that now it's when things are really going to take off. So how's it look in terms of scale for Prime Trust as well as for the industry? Exponential.
Exciting. All right, well, we'll leave it at that. As always, thank you, Scott, for joining us, and we'll have you again soon and often.
Appreciate it. Thanks.